so cool. Really neat stuff. You always wanted to be Jango Fett, didn't you? Or at least, you know, everybody wants to be Boba Fett or Jango Fett, because that's like the coolest guy in Star Wars. Our next guest has had his hand in nearly every Star Wars title that has ever been produced, from the 8-bit Star Wars for Nintendo to Episode 1 Racer, which was one of the great classic games. I mean, what a great racer game. Joining us right now with a glimpse behind the scenes of the newest Star Wars title, LucasArts director, writer, and game designer for Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Jon Knoles. It's good to have. How many titles have you done?
For LucasArts, this will be my 20th, and this will be my 18th Star Wars game, or 19th Star Wars game for LucasArts.
And your title is director.
That's right.
What does that mean? What does a director do?
Well, in my case, you know, it's up to me to come up with what game are we making.
Is it like a movie director set?
Kind of. And, you know, in this case, it's sort of like writer, director, designer.
Because you write the script for the story?
Yeah, exactly. So I come up with the story, the situations, the characters, the locations, what kind of controls we're going to have, and then I entrust the power of my awesomely talented team to take this in the directions that, you know, I'd like it to go. And
how many people to make a game like?
Well, we started out about almost 2 years ago with just a handful of people working on preliminary
doing the development
ideas. Yeah. And then at some point we swelled to over 50 people, and that's not counting people at ILM who helped us create our cinematic stuff.
Well, that's what's one of the things that's interesting about this. Now, you are under the Lucas umbrella, so obviously the nice thing is you have the licensing rights to this game, and it's not like you have to go beg George Lucas to let you do a bounty, you know, Jango Fett game.
No, that's.
But you do also have to get their approval for everything, right?
Exactly. We were given access to the script and concept art for the movie pretty early on, like back 2 years ago.
So before the movie came out?
Yeah, way before the movie came out. And, you know, we floated some ideas past them, you know, and there were some things that we wanted to do that, you know, licensing wasn't sure they could do, and there are questions only George Lucas could answer. And
yeah, now George supposedly has written the scenario out for the whole Star Wars 9 movies, if there were to be 9 movies. Yeah. Is this part of what he wrote out, or did you make up some new stuff?
No, we were allowed to come up with a whole new backstory for Jango Fett.
Oh, that's neat.
And as long as it served his character in the movie and just further developed him, then our game explains where he came from, you know, how he became chosen to be this template for a clone army, and why he wanted a kid who becomes Boba Fett.
Right.
You know, all the cool stuff that you don't find out in the movie, we're going to dive into.
So this is the backstory.
Exactly.
Before Boba was born.
Yeah, 10 years before the events.
Tell me the plot of the, what's the plot of the game? Is this, first of all, is it a first-person shooter? Is it a...
No, this Star Wars Bounty Hunter is a third-person action game.
That means you're kind of behind the player?
Yeah, you have freedom of camera movement. It's camera relative control. It's very familiar to people.
Especially on console.
Yeah, it's very much designed for console.
Right.
And in the game, Jango Fett is hired to go after a deranged Jedi.
Right.
And with the idea being the guys who hired him to do this are the ones that want to take over the galaxy someday, and they need somebody to clone. And so this is almost a contest, you know.
Let's see a little bit of the game. Here's Jango right here, yeah?
Yeah, this is Jango Fett.
This is one of the levels. Now, you said that you had help from both Skywalker Sound and Industrial Light and Magic on that.
Yes, Industrial Light and Magic. Between, here's Jango.
Oh, look at that fire. What is that, a flamethrower?
Yeah, he's got a flamethrower built into his
Dude, don't mess with Jango.
He's got his dual blasters.
Oh, man.
Dual blasters that you saw in the movie, and of course a jetpack mounted to his back for taking off and flying around.
T for teen?
T for teen. You know, it is full of action. It's full of blasting hordes of scumbags and galactic, you know.
You wouldn't want the little kids to play this, but a teenager, this is their meat and
right
potatoes.
At home, and also, you know, I mean, I'm 33, and this is what I'm doing.
No, this is my kind of game.
You know,
exactly.
This is the guy.
Ooh, look at that flip.
When I was a kid, this is the action figure who killed all the toys in my bedroom, and he's the one that I'm. Look at that! I just got. But so we're gonna, you know, we're gonna make sure that we've got, you know, this game loaded full of action. You know.
Show me some of the stuff that I know they did some CG stuff at ILM. Can you get to that cutscene there?
Yeah. Let me show you real quickly.
And then I have some of the sketches from the level we just looked at, and I think it'd be kind of fun to go through how the process that you do for a level while we're watching the cutscene.
Yeah.
So they in their ILM studios, they did, as they would do for a movie, they did some computer graphics.
Yeah, they took, ILM took our storyboarded script and developed a lot of high-quality cinematics to help drive the story forward. It's an original story that does tell the backstory of Jango Fett. It also introduces some new characters, like Jango has an arch nemesis, another bounty hunter.
Now close your eyes, guys, because this guy's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's bad.
So let's not look at this. Cut away, cut away, cut away!
Look at him.
That's not a bloody game.
No, it's not bloody at all.
I just wanted to warn warn people. Let's talk about the process you go through. These now you in your mind have already written kind of a prose description of what the level is going to be?
Yes, I do kind of a high-level overview of what I'd like to see in the level, what kinds of things I'd like to have happen, and I work with my lead level designer and his team of level designers.
Now you've already got the programmers who've done tools for level design.
Yeah, they're working on how to get the game up and running while we're all coming up with what the game's going to be.
Right. So that's kind of tough because you don't know yet quite what capabilities you're going to have. Is there a give and take between level designers and
the ideal situation when you start out to make a game is you just make the game. The engine's already made.
Right.
We had to make an engine and a game
engine?
to do what we needed to do for this game.
So this is the outline of the level?
Yeah, it starts out as like a bubble diagram, you know.
It's almost a map,
yeah, it's really rough. And actually with this particular map, you can see this level designer, Michael Licht, he took all of his ideas and my ideas and molded them together and formed a path for the player to take.
So this is actually how you'd be walking through. This is where Django was. You were in the forest there.
Yeah, this is the area I started out and goofed around. You run into all kinds of enemy emplacements. And as we go further and further through the process, we work out detailed areas. And
are puzzles put in at this level, or?
Well, this game doesn't really focus on puzzles.
Okay.
Django's he's an action man. He's just, he doesn't have time to talk or carry keys. In fact, if he comes to a locked door, he's more apt to cut it down with his laser torch and kick it down than ask somebody for a key.
Now, is this the next level, or what is this?
No, these are just, this is a more detailed version of one of the areas you saw in the previous drawing. So it talks about ambush points where we want enemies to be placed, a path that we'd want a creature to follow, and then some big ideas that might require new technology, special kinds of art requirements, so to keep the programmers abreast of what's going on.
Assault on gun nests, snipe opportunities, so they'll have to make sure that they can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Infiltrate building to gain access. I find it really interesting that you don't work on the computer for this kind of stuff.
No, sometimes, it's fastest to just pump out ideas on paper, and Mike did a great job of fleshing this whole thing out.
Let's give him credit. Michael Licht. Michael Licht.
One of the LDs on our project.
Level
LD
designer.
short for level designer.
Right.
And
is this the kind of thing, what kind of training to become a level designer?
Well, a lot of them, level design is kind of a broad term. It can mean mission designs for a flight sim where you just figure out what planes are going to attack, or guys who actually build out the geometry of the level. In this case, he starts out on paper and he takes us all the way to the geometry stage where he fleshes out the level. We're running around in a big rough environment for way before we're finished with the game, and then the artists come in and they help him flesh it out even more. And you're involved intimately in the design of the game.
These people, the artists, would be graphic designers.
Meanwhile, the artists are busy sketching out, how things are going to look. So we're coming up with tree houses
that's pretty cool.
for the aliens who live on this particular planet.
Yeah, there's the tree house, other houses. Look at that. These are very. So this is now. How are we going to get to the computer on this? I mean, does somebody then draw it in the computer?
Yeah, well, then we take all these and we make 3D models out of them, and then we have texture
What do you
artists.
mean 3D models? In the computer?
Yeah, the whole game is developed in a 3D art package, and it's not unlike the kind you can go buy for yourself.
Right.
And we just go and texture it, light it, paint it,
That's beautiful.
put all kinds of neat things in like water effects and special effects.
Now, as we start to get the color, this almost looks like Disney cells. I mean, these are animated cells.
This really helps the level designer visualize what he's trying to do, and then of course it gives everybody an idea what the game's going to look like.
Let's go back now that we've seen the level kind of go through its progress here. Maybe we can go back and play a little bit more. Look at this final color one. Oh, that's beautiful. That's just gorgeous. So the level designer like Mike isn't necessarily a graphic artist. He might be somebody who just played a lot of games.
And in many cases, they do have a lot of artistic talent. In many cases, these guys will build out a lot of the art for the level. But they're so busy trying to get the gameplay. Where does Django jump to? What kind of ledge does he grab? All these kinds of things. These are the things that you want to have an artist meanwhile working on. Geez, how am I going to get that tree to blow in the wind, or fireflies moving around in the forest and things like that.
Available for GameCube and PlayStation 2. How soon? In a couple of weeks?
Yeah, a couple of weeks. PlayStation 2 should be in stores November 22nd.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're excited.
That's everybody's got to be excited about that. Star Wars Bounty Hunter, you can be Jango Fett.
That's right.
Does Boba Fett make an appearance at any point?
This game is how Boba Fett came to be.
Got born. All right.
So you have to wait for that one.
Jon Knoles, thank you so much. Maybe that'll be game 21.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Star Wars Bounty Hunter, to see even more of this. Isn't that incredible, the pre-production artwork and the level design? We've got many more of those images online at thescreensavers.com, so you can see them up close and in detail for yourself. And maybe if you want to be a level designer, this will give you kind of a hint of how you do it.